from New York's only all-news station, this is a NY1 News Special. Tonight, New Year's Eve, live from Times Square. Join us as we count down to the new year with a look back at the highlights of 1996.
The countdown to 1997 is in its final hours, but nasty road conditions are putting a damper on the festivities. Our Jeff Simmons is in Times Square now with more.
Hi, Gary. Well, I've been counting the hours until the end of 1996, and Old Man Winter seems to be paying us one last visit. In fact, Mother Nature right now is dropping her own form of confetti. It's lightly snowing here in Times Square. Now, while the preparations are underway for a festive occasion tonight, there's been a number of accidents across the region, including along the Long Island Expressway in Queens. Police are reporting scores of accidents because of slippery roadways and icy conditions. Now, here tonight, we're expecting 500,000 people in Times Square, and if you're going to be heading here, you should take it easy and take it slowly. You also might want to try mass transit because there's going to be an extra number of buses and subway routes to get you here. Also know that a number of the roads will be closed after dusk, so you might be able to get here, but you're going to have to take it easy. One last thing, bundle up. It's in the low 20s now, and tonight it's expected to dip even further for one last hit upon us in 1996. I'm heading back to you in the studio, Gary.
Meet Al Francis, mechanic in Con Edison's Maintenance and Construction Division.
The most dangerous aspect of my job would be working around live equipment. You just can't walk to a job with, I did this 1,000 times attitude.
Al's philosophy is that safety is everyone's responsibility. It keeps work sites neat and makes the job run faster and more efficiently. The result is safe, reliable service for Con Edison customers. Con Edison, the company you know, the people you trust.
But let's kick things off right now with NY1's Jeff Simmons. Jeff is standing by live at the pulse of the party, counting down to 1997. Jeff, I understand there's a very special guest who will be pushing the button when it's time for the ball to drop.
Yes, Gary, that will be 88-year-old Osceola McCarty. She's going to take part in that along with Mayor Giuliani to make sure things go on off without a hitch this year. But last year there was a slight glitch. Everything wasn't on the ball last year, which is why the ball didn't drop exactly at midnight, maybe a few seconds later. But this year, organizers promise a smooth, fanciful event. There were 2 test runs Monday afternoon to make sure the 6-foot halogen ball would glide down its pole. Giant lights and strobes will flood the square with light.
There's a 1,200 amp feed brought up to the roof of One Times Square. That's equivalent to enough power to light 10 to 12 homes.
Not all of the attention will be on the glitz and glamour. 6,500 joggers will pound the pavement in a midnight run in Central Park as fireworks burst overhead.
Tens of thousands of people lined up throughout the park, watching the fireworks, cheering on the runners, costume display. And thousands will take part in first night festivities. Police are promising stepped-up presence, one likely to generate a whopping bill in overtime costs. The NYPD is taking extra precautions to make sure things don't get out of hand. More than 2,600 extra cops will be posted in the area, on foot and on horseback. And many will be at the 43rd Street and 6th Avenue intersection to prevent a last-minute rush on the ball-dropping building. Bomb experts also will sweep for explosives. Last year, an estimated 300,000 people rang in the new year at the Midtown hub. Officials predict the party will stretch past Times Square as far north as 57th Street and south to 34th Street. And cops also want to make sure that many revelers aren't taken for a ride. So they're starting Operation Up All Night to crack down on cabbies who overcharge customers. The heart and soul of this year's event will be 88-year-old Osceola McCarty, the Mississippi grandmother who donated her $150,000 life savings to the University of Southern Mississippi. She'll signal the 60-second countdown and the start of a new tradition, selecting someone who embodies decency, imagination, and energy. Energy she'll need to muster up enough courage to peer over the top of One Times Square.
I'm scared to look down the high thing.
She'll be up later than ever before just to usher in a new year with a holiday wish.
Happy New Year to you all.
Now, a short while ago, Osceola took a ride right around this intersection in a golf cart, and there were cheers from many in the crowd. A short while ago, some of the people involved with the Times Square Business Improvement District handed out thousands of balloons and thousands of confetti bags. And right now in that crowd, we have our own Janine Aguirre. Janine, how's it going?
Hi, Jeff. How you doing? We are out here. The Business Improvement District gave out some of these balloons.
Welcome back to our special presentation, New York One News' countdown to 1997. There are hundreds of thousands of people in Times Square getting ready to enjoy the celebration of ushering in a new year. One of those people is probably one of the best dressed folks at Times Square right now. That's our own Jeff Simmons, who's standing in the middle of the action. Jeff?
So anyway, right now, what you're going to be seeing in the next half hour is an incredible sense of joy and elation. Now at midnight, once that ball drops, there's always been little attention on the other thing that lights up. That's the 1997 sign. And let me tell you a little about that. That's got 192 pin spotlights. It's 7 foot high and 17 feet long, and it's outlined with 124 strobe lights that glitter. And the ball, by the way, has a fog machine inside so that as it goes down, it's even easier to see. The crowd is incredibly joyous here tonight. They just handed out thousands of balloons and empty bags for people to scoop up the confetti that's going to be thrown 3,000 pounds from 13 buildings around Times Square. This is Jeff Simmons. Back to you in the studio, Gary.
Just a little bit more than 15 minutes left in 1996, and the usherance of 1997. You're watching continuous coverage of New Year's Eve celebrations and the countdown to 97. Now, if you're looking over in the left-hand corner of your screen, you'll see that we are counting down with you just a little bit more than 14 minutes left in 1996. And in the crowd of the multitudes, our Jeff Simmons has a special guest. Jeff?
I'm here with Mayor Giuliani right now. Mayor, what is your resolution for 1997?
We got to make 97 even better than 96, and 96 was one of the best years New York City's had in a long time. Safest year in 28 years. Thank goodness the murder rate below 1,000 for the first time in 28 years. Crime down. Times Square back and back big time. Look at Times Square. This is unbelievable. This is the biggest New Year's Eve celebration in the history of the city. Wonderful way to usher in 97. And our resolution has to be to make 97 even more successful than 96 for more people, for people maybe that didn't get the advantage of some of the opportunities that now exist in the city.
Did you not fulfill any resolutions in 1996?
Oh, I would like to have done more. There are things I would like to have done, but I have to tell you, if you had told me at the beginning of this year that New York City, for the first time since the 1960s, would go below 1,000 murders, drop crime down 38%, be safer than Las Vegas, for example, or Philadelphia, or you name the city. We're like now 150, 160 for crime.
Now, you were in Los Angeles to watch, to celebrate New Year's Eve once before. How does that compare with this?
People are asking me, well, is the celebration going to move to Las Vegas? You know how they celebrate New Year's in Las Vegas and in California? They watch us on tape 3 hours later. When I was in Los Angeles with Donna for the New Year's a few years ago, we watched this celebration on tape, and that's what they're going to do all throughout the world. 1 billion people watch this celebration. It makes the world like a village, and New York is at the center of it.
And one last question. What's the economic impact of something like this?
This alone, just this one celebration, probably $40 to $50 million. All the New Year's Eve celebrations could push it over $100 million. But think of the advertising the city gets. All over the world, 1 billion people celebrate New Year's watching New York City. They want to come here, they want to be part of it, and they help us grow.
Mayor, thank you very much for your time.
Good luck in all your colleagues.
Thank you.
God bless. Thank you.
And now we're going to head back to you in the studio. This is Jeff Simmons. Back to you, Gary.
Thank you, Jeff. Now we'll take a shift to a different kind of level out in Times Square, which is probably a fever pitch right now. And we join our own Jeff Simmons in the middle of the fever. Jeff?
Gary, well, it is reaching a fever pitch here, and while nearly 500,000 people seem to be having a good time, just a few minutes ago we saw a few people who are not. Several police officers walked several gentlemen with solemn looks on their faces by, and they were handcuffed. We caught up with Chief Anamone, and he wasn't talking about why they were arrested. And right now, as you can hear behind me, the crowd has been doing countdowns so they could prepare for that moment in just a few minutes. Now, I've already got my top hat here, a nice glittered top hat to go with the tux, and a horn, and they've been passing out tons of balloons and tons of bags, so when that confetti drops in about 10 minutes or less, they can scoop it up so the thousands upon thousands of people who've shown up here can take home a souvenir from this night. This has been a wonderful night out here so far, and in only moments, when that ball goes down, you're going to be seeing it in a fog because it's got a wonderful fog machine in it, and it's also got 12,000 rhinestones. It is just glittering up there right now, and the crowd has also been treated to a laser show.
Welcome back to New York One News' special coverage of New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, countdown to 1997, which is here. 500,000 people packing themselves into Times Square to help bring in the new year. One of those people who helped bring in the new year, dressed up in his top hat, not quite his white tie, our own Jeff Simmons, who was a part of the fever. Jeff?
Gary, the crowd went wild, and as promised, this was the brightest place on the planet at the stroke of midnight. The cavern was just bathed in light. And now, as you can see a little behind me, the crowd started immediately to disperse, but for moments there, it was something like I've never seen before. There was a ton of confetti falling, there were horns blasting, and it seemed like there was a smile on everyone's face out here. And joining us now